Well, hello there, George Bruno here, also known as the Sultan of Silver, and tonight we're going to try a fruit that I never tried before. Here it is right here. Stay tuned. Tonight we're going to try an Asian pear. I work with an Asian lady named Melissa. Many of you have seen her in pictures, and she is Chinese and from Vietnam, and she cooks and brings in fried rice and different authentic Asian dishes, and she shops at an Asian store and got this for me, and because she knows that I would do a video about it. So we're going to cut this open. I never had an Asian pear before, and I've seen these before. They come in, sometimes they come wrapped in like a foam, kind of like webbing kind of thing to keep them from getting bruised, because they do get bruised kind of easy. It's heavy. It's about as big as a softball, grapefruit kind of thing. It's hard, like an apple, hard like an apple. And I just want to tell you a little bit about it first. But hey, tonight, the hat, the John 3:16 hat, is compliments of my friend Glory in Nashville, and I'm wearing it in this video in her honor. So thank you, Glory, for the hat. I like the hat, and I know you like the message, and I do too. So thank you very much for it. An Asian pear. It's called Pyrus pyrifolia. It's a species of pear tree native to East Asia. The tree's edible fruit is known by many names, including Asian pear, Chinese pear, Korean pear, Japanese pear, Taiwanese pear, and the sand pear. Let me go to the Wikipedia of it. It's grown throughout East Asia and in other countries such as India, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States, only in California. Traditionally in East Asia, the tree's flowers are a popular symbol of early spring, and it's a common sight in gardens and the countryside. So I guess in the same way that the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C., and how they are a sign of spring for us here in the United States, the Asian pear tree, its flowers are a sign that spring is coming in East Asia. The fruits are not generally baked into pies or made into jams because of a high water content and a crisp, grainy texture. I guess pears are grainy. They have those stone cells in them. Very different from the European varieties. They're commonly served raw and peeled. The fruit tends to be large and fragrant, and when carefully wrapped, it has a tendency to bruise because of its juiciness. It can last for several weeks or more in a cold, dry place. Due to the relatively high price and large size of the fruit, the pears tend to be served to guests, given as gifts, or eaten together in a family setting. In cooking, the ground pears are used in vinegar or soy sauce-based sauces as a sweetener instead of sugar. That's interesting. And they're also used when marinating meat, especially beef. This is interesting, and Melissa told me this. In China, the term sharing a pear is a homophone, which means it's a word that sounds like another word. A homophone of separate. As a result, sharing a pear with a loved one can be read as a desire to separate from them. So, sharing a pear sounds like, I want a separation, or I want a divorce, or something to that effect. Like you no longer want to be with them. So it kind of sounds the same. I thought that was quite interesting, and Melissa did confirm that with me. So let's talk about the nutritional stuff. Let's see here. Nutritional value for 3.5 ounces, which I guess would be a serving. This is way more than 3.5 ounces. 10.6 grams of carbs, 7 grams of sugar, 3.6 grams of dietary fiber, a little bit of fat, a little bit of protein. It seems to be quite heavy in the B vitamins. It's got a lot of minerals in it. What else? A lot of potassium. That's interesting. And also, it's got 3.8 milligrams of vitamin C, which is 5% of your recommended daily allowance. Is that the word? The RDA, recommended daily allowance of vitamin C. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. I don't know. So let's just cut this open. When I did the persimmon, I cut it the wrong way. I want to cut this so you see the cross section. I want to see the seeds in it. So let's just cut it this way and not like a pie. I want to cut it in half and take a look at the seeds. It's hard, like a pear. Oh, that's interesting. See that? That's what I was looking for, to see how the seeds are protected inside the fruit. So there's 5 little pods, and it's very fibrous, that middle part. I can feel it. Actually, this middle part is harder than this part. So I guess if you ate it, you know, like an apple, that would be the core. And there's the 2 sides. All right, I'm going to cut some pieces off and not cut the core. I'm not going to be eating from the core. This is the first piece that I cut. Just cut it like you would cut an apple. I'm going to have 2 pieces, and one I'm going to have with the skin. They say the skin has a lot of fiber, but typically it's not served with the skin. So here we go, without the skin. Mildly sweet. It's not as sweet as a pear. Not nearly as sweet as an apple. Crunchy, but every bite is releasing a lot of water, a lot of liquid. The first thing, if this didn't tell me that it had high water content, I would have guessed it right away by chewing it, because as I'm chewing it, I could just feel like the water gushing. Not as crunchy as a pear, though, and not as sweet. What's interesting is I tend to lean towards the fruits that aren't as sweet, and I really like this. I think she said that these go for like 2 for $5. So, and it's pretty big. Like I said, it's as big as, actually bigger than a softball. It's pretty huge. So cutting this up and putting it in little bowls amongst a family of 4 would be a nice little dessert, you know, mixed with some other fruits. Very high water content. Very. Almost like watermelon. But not nearly as sweet. And it's crunchy. But like I said, not as crunchy as a pear. You know, sometimes when you get pears and they're like really hard, and then there are some that are so soft you can almost pull that stem out, just like boop, just pop it right out. It's not soft like that, but it's not hard. Like like those green pears, I forget what do they call those? I forget the name. Now let's try a piece with the skin. You can eat the skin, and it is non-soluble fiber, which means that fat and cholesterol attaches to it, and it passes through your body, and it moves everything out, keeps the plumbing going. So let's try this with the skin. Definitely different. It's a different sensation. Now I cut it thin. It's not offensive, but I think I would peel it in the future. Yeah, I'm not I guess you could just like eat it like an apple or carve it up, whatever, but I think I prefer it without the skin. I like the fact that it's not super sweet. Like the persimmons have a nice flavor and they're juicy, but you're not getting this sugar hit. Now it says here that when these are crushed up and pureed, it's used in place of sugar in certain dishes. But the American palate, the modern American palate is so used to sugar and salt and everything. I heard, I was listening to the book Gorilla Mindset by Cernovich, and he talked about just stopping all sugar. And if you stop all added sugar in your life, like don't add sugar to anything, that when you do bite into an apple or you do have a banana, that it'll seem ultra sweet, like almost too sweet. That's because we pretty much burn out our taste buds from just having so much sugar in us. Actually, there's a movie on Netflix that you have to watch. I think it's called Sugar Coated, and it's about the sugar industry and high fructose corn syrup, and it's about all the different names for sugar. It drives me crazy. I mean, you would think that sugar would just be sugar in a list of ingredients, but there's so many different names for it, and there's a huge lobby for sugar, and when you look at like sugar is poison to the body, and it feeds cancer and disease and all that stuff. So you can actually do without it because you get enough sugar from everything else, and of course your body takes carbs and converts them to sugar, which your muscles use as energy. So you really don't need added sugar. Another good reason to get Asian pears, because they're not super sweet. I know if I have a glass of orange juice, you know, they say if somebody's hypoglycemic, like they're getting like dizzy and a little disoriented, give them some orange juice, because that's the quickest way to administer sugar into their system and get their glucose level up. For me, the orange juice is so sweet, I will fill a glass up, maybe 1/3, and then the rest with water from the dispenser, you know, in the refrigerator door with cold water. And to me, that's perfect. Or if I do a soda stream, I will fill the liter bottle up and literally put no more than like the equivalent of like 2 shot glasses of orange juice in that liter, and that sweetens it up just enough for me. Sugar is just no good for you. And orange juice is a delivery system for a sugar shock. This is, I would imagine, a good fruit for people who might be diabetic and don't want that sugar spike. I'm guessing it would be. I don't know. Some of you nutritional people might better guide me on that. But let's just have another piece of this. I like it. It's nice. You know what would be good? I'm crazy thinking like this. Juicing this bad boy, getting like 5 of them, juicing them, filtering the juice, putting in some yeast, like you would make hard cider, and Asian pear, like ferment it, like make a hard Asian pear juice. And it would be, you know, in 2 to 3 weeks, it would stop fermenting and bubbling. I'll tell you what, that would make a nice cordial, a pear juice cordial. Wow. And I bet you that would have a hit. I do. So that would be something that you would just have in little tiny glasses and something maybe after dinner for a little bit of a sweet tooth. But that might be something that I do in the future. So there you have it, an Asian pear. You've passed these 1,000 times in the supermarket. Pick one up, try it. If you see any weird fruits and things that you don't know what they are, get one and try them. Expand your world a little bit. It's not going to hurt. It's only going to help. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to show you the next strange fruit.